Not all who wander are lost, but those who wander without purpose may never find their way. Big, bold greetings from the Lao Tzu. If you're hearing this, it's not by chance. You've been drawn here for a reason. This message is meant for a select few, those who feel deep down that they were made for something more. It's not for the average. It's not for the faint-hearted. It's for the seekers, the awakened, the ones who feel the pull of a greater calling. Others might listen out of curiosity, but only those aligned with their true purpose will truly feel the weight and power behind these words. If that's you, stay with me until the end. What I'm about to share has the power to shift your path, strengthen your spirit, and guide you through even your darkest moments. Being chosen isn't easy. In fact, it's the opposite. This path is full of challenges, trials that test your faith, your patience, and your strength. But that's because you're being prepared for something far greater than you can yet see. And with that calling comes responsibility. There are certain energies, behaviors, and choices that you must avoid completely. These aren't just bad habits. They are spiritual traps meant to derail you, dim your light, and block your destiny. Let's start with the most important of these traps, the one that, if ignored, can unravel everything else. The spiritual trap. 1. Ignoring your inner voice. If you are one of the chosen, you've been given a sacred gift, the ability to hear your inner voice. That quiet knowing, that gut instinct, that nudge in your spirit, that's not random. That's divine communication. It's your direct line to the source, your internal compass guiding you toward your higher path. Call it intuition, call it a feeling, but know this: it's your soul speaking. It knows why you're here. It knows the journey you're meant to take. It knows where you're supposed to go and who you're meant to become. But here's the danger. When we let the noise of the world drown out that voice, we lose our way. Fear, doubt, the opinions of others, the distractions of the modern world, they all work overtime to muffle that inner guide. And when we stop listening, we stop aligning with our purpose, we end up chasing things that were never meant for us, pouring energy into paths that lead us nowhere. Ignoring your inner voice isn't just a mistake. It's a betrayal of your soul's mission. Let me be clear. Your inner voice is your compass in life. It's what guides you through uncertainty, your light in moments of confusion. When you ignore it, you're not just making a bad decision. You're turning away from the divine wisdom meant to protect and guide you. Tuning it out isn't a small oversight. It's a spiritual betrayal. You're rejecting a sacred gift that's been placed within you to help you find your way. So why do so many of us, especially those who feel called or chosen, struggle to follow this voice? Why do we question the very guidance that's designed to lead us toward our highest good? The answer is simple. The world is noisy, and your inner voice is quiet. We live in a culture that worships logic, reason, and external approval. In that kind of world, your inner guidance can seem irrational, even impractical. But here's the truth. The divine doesn't always operate by human logic. What might seem unreasonable to others could be the exact direction you need to grow and evolve spiritually. The challenge is to trust. Trust your intuition, even when it doesn't add up. Trust it even when it pulls you out of your comfort zone and into the unknown. Your inner voice sees what you can't. It understands the bigger picture, the spiritual terrain that your human mind can't fully grasp. Think back to the times you ignored that voice. Maybe you had a gut feeling something was off, a person, a decision, a direction, but you brushed it aside. Maybe you told yourself you were overthinking, or let someone else talk you out of it. And what happened? chances are it didn't end well. When we ignore our inner guidance, we invite disorder into our lives. We step out of sync with the divine flow, and things begin to fall apart. It doesn't just create confusion, it creates spiritual disconnection. And the more we ignore that voice, the quieter it gets. Over time, you may find it harder and harder to hear. That's because the universe speaks most clearly to those who choose to listen. If you keep silencing that voice, eventually the messages will become faint. And once that connection fades, you open yourself up to lower energies, fear, anxiety, doubt, and even harmful influences that aim to pull you off your path. If you're someone who's been chosen, if you feel that calling, this is a risk you simply can't afford to take. Your inner voice isn't just your guide, it's your shield. It protects you from energies, people, and situations that aren't meant for you. When you follow that voice, you're aligning with the divine's plan for your life. You're stepping into who you truly are. And that's where your real power lives. How do you strengthen your connection to your inner voice? How do you stay in tune with your inner voice when life gets noisy and distracting? In a world that's constantly demanding your attention, finding clarity starts with creating space for stillness. That means intentionally stepping away from the chaos and carving out moments of peace. Your inner voice doesn't shout, it whispers, and it speaks most clearly when you're calm, grounded, and open. This is why practices like meditation, prayer, journaling, or even just spending time in nature are so important, especially for those who feel called to a higher purpose. These practices help you quiet the mental chatter, shut out external noise, and reconnect with your inner guidance. Next, you have to learn to trust your feelings, even when they don't seem to make logical sense. Your inner voice often communicates through subtle nudges, emotions, physical sensations, gut instincts. Pay attention to how you feel in certain places or around certain people. If something feels off, believe it. If something feels right, even if it's uncertain, trust that too. Your body is deeply intuitive, and often it senses things before your mind can catch up. But listening alone isn't enough. You have to act on that guidance. Taking action, even when it's uncomfortable or unclear, is how your inner voice becomes stronger. Think of it like a muscle. The more you use it, the more powerful it becomes. For those on a path of spiritual purpose, ignoring your inner voice isn't just a mistake. It's dangerous. It cuts you off from the divine. And without that connection, you're far more vulnerable to distractions, deception, and the chaos of the outside world. So remember this: your inner voice is your most powerful guide. To ignore it is to turn your back on your soul's mission. Listen closely. Act boldly. Trust that the divine has already paved the way. You just need to follow it. Forbidden action number 2. Entertaining negative energy or toxic people. Your energy is sacred. If you've been called to a higher path, you are a vessel of divine light, and that light needs to be protected. One of the biggest threats to your spiritual growth is the presence of negative energy or toxic people in your life. You might not always notice it, but the energy you surround yourself with plays a huge role in your spiritual alignment. Letting negative influences linger, whether it's people, places, or even your own thoughts, is one of the most harmful things you can do. This is the second forbidden action you must avoid at all costs. Let's break it down. Negative energy can come from anywhere: relationships, environments, social media, or even self-doubt. And as someone who's spiritually sensitive, you're especially tuned into these vibrations. That sensitivity is a gift, but it also means you need to be extra intentional about who and what you allow into your life. The danger is that negativity often creeps in slowly, You might think, I can handle it, or it's not affecting me that much. But that's the trap. Toxic energy doesn't always hit you all at once. It seeps in, weakening your aura over time. And before you know it, you're off balance, drained, and disconnected from your center. It's not about being judgmental. It's about being protective. Protect your energy like your life depends on it. Because spiritually, oh, it does. Toxic people can be especially harmful to those who are walking a higher path. These are the individuals who drain your energy, minimize your journey, or constantly bring negativity and chaos into your life. Sometimes they don't even realize the impact they're having. But the truth is, their energy simply doesn't align with your purpose. Toxic people can show up as friends, family members, co-workers, or even casual acquaintances. And while you might feel obligated to keep them around out of guilt or social expectations, the reality is that their presence may be holding you back from the growth you're meant to experience. Setting boundaries is essential. If you've been called to a higher purpose, you can't afford to carry the weight of other people's negativity. That doesn't mean you have to cut everyone off completely, but you do need to be intentional about who you allow into your space. Ask yourself, does this person support my path? Do I feel uplifted after being with them, or completely drained? If the answer leans toward the negative, it's time to create some distance. Your spiritual health depends on it. Cleansing your energy regularly is just as important. Negative energy has a way of clinging to you, even through everyday conversations or just walking into a room. Have you ever left a chat feeling heavy, or entered a space and immediately sensed something was off? That's not your imagination. It's your intuition picking up on low vibrational energy. To keep yourself clear, make spiritual hygiene a habit. Try meditating, burning sage, or working with protective crystals like black tourmaline to help cleanse and shield your energy field. If you're someone with a strong inner light, people will notice, and not all attention will be good. Some are attracted to your energy because they want to feed off it. Others may feel threatened by your purpose or even resentful of your light. That's why self-awareness is key. Stay mindful of who and what you allow into your world. Your light is not just a blessing, it's a responsibility. Guard it with intention. Your surroundings matter too. Just like people, certain places carry energy. Some environments are heavy with stress, conflict, or leftover tension. Whether it's a toxic workplace, a home filled with arguments, or a public space with bad vibes, these places can leave you feeling emotionally and physically drained. Pay attention to how your body responds in different spaces. That discomfort is a message. This place isn't good for you. When you can, avoid those environments, and instead seek out places that refill your spirit. Nature, for example, is deeply healing. The wind, the trees, the earth, all of it works together to help ground you, recharge you, and realign you with who you truly are. Forbidden Action 3. Getting caught up in materialism and worldly desires. Now let's talk about the third forbidden action, one that's especially sneaky for those on a spiritual path. Getting caught up in materialism and chasing worldly desires. This trap is subtle but powerful. The world around us is filled with distractions, money, possessions, status, power. And if you're someone who's been called to something greater, it's critical that you learn to rise above these illusions, because that's exactly what they are, temporary and fleeting. When you get too attached to material things, you drift away from your true calling and get tangled in the lower energies of the physical world. To be clear, there's nothing wrong with having nice things. You're allowed to enjoy the rewards of your hard work, to live comfortably, even abundantly. The issue isn't the things themselves. It's the attachment to them. When your happiness, self-worth, or identity becomes dependent on what you own or how much you have, you're stepping into dangerous territory. Materialism creates a false sense of security. We've been taught to believe that the more we have, the more valuable or successful we are. But here's the real truth. All of it, money, stuff, titles, can vanish overnight. And if your sense of self is built on that foundation, you'll be left lost and empty when it crumbles. As someone who's been called, chosen, awakened, whatever term speaks to you, you don't have the luxury of chasing after shallow goals. That's not why you're here. You're here for something deeper, something sacred. When you get too attached to the material world, you're anchoring yourself to the lower vibrations of this earthly plane, and it makes it so much harder to grow and evolve spiritually. Let me give you an example. Think about someone who has everything: money, cars, a beautiful home, public recognition. But inside, they feel empty. Why? Because they're trying to fill a spiritual void with material things, and that never works. No matter how much they buy or achieve, something always feels like it's missing. That something is spiritual connection, true fulfillment, the kind that can only come from within. For those of us walking this path, fulfillment doesn't come from the outside. It comes from your connection to the divine. It comes from knowing you're aligned with your higher purpose, from making a difference, from living authentically and serving something greater than yourself. When you focus too much on the material, you lose sight of what really matters. You get distracted, and before you know it, you're off course, chasing things that don't actually mean anything in the grand story of your soul's journey. So, how do you stay on track? First, practice detachment. Understand that material things are just that, things. Enjoy them, be grateful for them, but don't let them define you. Your value doesn't come from what you own or how much you have. It comes from who you are, from the light within you, from the purpose you carry. Second, practice gratitude. Don't fixate on what you lack. Instead, appreciate what you already have. Gratitude raises your frequency. It helps you stay present and recognize that you're already supported by the universe in ways that go way beyond money or stuff. Finally, stay focused on your mission. Remind yourself often why you're here. Keep your eyes on the bigger picture, the higher purpose you're meant to serve. When you stay grounded in your spiritual path, materialism loses its grip on you. And from that place, you can walk your journey with strength, clarity, and peace. Forbidden action number 4. Falling into the ego trap. One of the most dangerous pitfalls for anyone on a spiritual path, especially those who are called or chosen, is getting caught up in the ego. And we're not just talking about arrogance or pride. Ego runs much deeper than that. It's the false self, the illusion that you're separate from God, from others, and even from your own soul. For a chosen one, spiritual growth means rising above this illusion and embracing the truth of connection and unity. The ego constantly seeks recognition. It wants the spotlight. It craves validation from the outside world, praise, approval, power, attention. But here's the real talk. The more you feed the ego, the more you drift away from your higher purpose. The ego turns your focus outward, distracting you with how you look to the world instead of who you truly are inside. Once you give in to it, you start defining yourself by your achievements, your status, your influence. You chase power just to feel powerful. You chase recognition just to feel seen. But this is the ego's game. And for someone walking a sacred path, it's a trap you can't afford to fall into. As someone chosen, your purpose isn't to climb over others to compete or to prove you're better. Your mission is to serve. to inspire, to bring light wherever you go. But the ego whispers lies. It tells you that you're special in a way that makes you above others, that your spiritual journey makes you superior. Don't listen. That voice is not your soul. It's your ego trying to hijack your path. The spiritual teacher Ram Dass once said, "The ego is an exquisite instrument. Enjoy it. Use it. Just don't get lost in it." That's the key. You don't need to kill your ego. It's part of being human, but you do need to stop letting it run the show. When ego leads, your actions come from fear, not love, from scarcity, not abundance, and ego doesn't always show up loudly. Sometimes it sneaks in quietly, through jealousy, comparison, or the urge to control. It loves to measure, to rank, to pit you against others. But here's the truth. You are incomparable. Your journey, your gifts, your soul, totally one of a kind. You're divine by design, and so is everyone else. The ego also thrives on judgment. It likes to point fingers, to puff itself up by putting others down. But judgment? That's a mirror. It reflects what's unsettled in you. The ego judges because it feels separate, insecure, and threatened. But your higher self, it knows we're all connected, that every soul has its own path, and that there's no need for comparison, ever. So, how do you avoid falling into the ego trap? Start with awareness. Notice when the ego is talking, when you feel the urge to prove something, to be right, or to control the outcome. Pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, is this my higher self speaking or my ego? And if it's your ego, make a different choice. Choose humility, choose love, choose to serve. Another powerful tool, gratitude. Gratitude shifts your mindset. It takes you from not enough to more than enough. It reminds you that your worth doesn't come from outside praise. It comes from your inner truth and your connection to the divine. Gratitude silences the ego's voice and realigns you with the abundance of the universe. Always remember this, chosen ones. Your true strength doesn't come from ego. It comes from your alignment with something greater. When you walk in humility, love, and service, you become a clear channel for divine purpose to flow through you. Forbidden action number 5. Misusing the power of your words. Words hold power. Real, tangible power. They carry energy, intention, and vibration. And if you're someone walking a spiritual path, your words have an even greater impact than you might realize. The 5th forbidden action is misusing that sacred power. The power of your voice. Every word you speak sends out a ripple. Whether you're conscious of it or not, your words can lift someone up or tear them down, bring healing or cause harm. And as someone tuned into a higher spiritual frequency, your words carry extra weight. Using language negatively, through gossip, lies, harsh criticism, or careless talk, can pull you off track on your spiritual journey. These might seem like minor slip-ups, but they have consequences. The energy behind what you say reflects what's happening inside you. When your words are full of negativity, judgment, or deceit, you're not just affecting others. You're lowering your own vibration and distancing yourself from your true self. You've probably heard the advice, only speak words that are kind, necessary, and true. This isn't just feel-good advice. It's a spiritual guideline, especially for people like you. Words are a form of creation. When you speak fear, doubt, or negativity into the world, you give those energies life. You make them real in your experience. But when you speak with love, confidence, and honesty, you raise your vibration and attract more of that same energy into your life. One of the most damaging ways we misuse words is through gossip. It might seem harmless or even entertaining at times, but gossip is a form of energetic theft. When you talk about someone behind their back, you're feeding into judgment, comparison, and low vibe energy. It drags you down and it dims your light. As someone walking a higher path, you're called to do better. Your words should bring light, not cast shadows. Another common way we sabotage ourselves is with the words we use about ourselves. Saying things like, "I can't," "I'm not good enough," or "this is too hard," may seem like venting, but they're actually powerful affirmations, just the kind you don't want. Those phrases carry the energy of limitation, and every time you speak them, you reinforce those limits in your own mind and in your life. But here's the truth. You are limitless. You are capable of more than you know. Start speaking that truth. I can. I am worthy. I am on the right path. These words help align you with your higher self and unlock your potential. Finally, pay attention to the energy behind your words. Speaking from anger, fear, or frustration can unleash powerful vibrations that don't serve you or others. This doesn't mean you should silence your emotions. It means expressing them in a way that's mindful and grounded. Before you speak, pause. Take a breath. Choose your words intentionally, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Words aren't just how we communicate. They're how we create. You're not just talking. You're casting energy into the world. As a chosen one, you have the power to shape your reality with your voice. Use that power wisely. Speak with love. Speak with purpose. Let your words be a reflection of the light that lives inside you. Forbidden Action 6. Being afraid of your own power. If you're one of the chosen ones, you carry a deep well of spiritual power within you. You might already feel it. A unique energy that sets you apart. A light that glows from your very soul. But with great power comes great responsibility. And for many, that responsibility can feel heavy. That's why the sixth forbidden action is fearing your own power. At some point, most chosen ones question whether they're truly up to the task. The mission feels too big, the expectations too high. You might want to retreat, keep your gifts hidden, or avoid situations that call you to fully show up. This isn't humility, it's self-sabotage dressed up as caution. Here's the truth. Being afraid of your power is like slamming the door on the very gift the universe gave you. When you shrink back, you're turning away from the divine energy that flows through you and from the purpose you were born to fulfill. So, why do so many of us fear our own light? It comes down to the ego. The ego wants safety, control, and predictability. But stepping into your power means stepping into uncertainty, into a deeper alignment with the divine. And that scares the ego. It knows that once you claim your power, it loses control. That's why it pushes you to stay small, to stick to comfort zones where real transformation can't happen. Fear of your power is also deeply tied to feelings of unworthiness. You might ask, who am I to carry this kind of light? Who am I to lead? These thoughts aren't truth. They're the fear talking. The real truth is this. You were chosen because you're capable. You were called because you're the right person for the mission. The universe doesn't make mistakes. When you fear your own power, you're not just limiting yourself. You're limiting the impact you're meant to have on the world. Chosen ones are here to create change, to heal, to uplift, and to be a guiding light for others. But how can you do any of that if you're constantly hiding, doubting, or dimming your light? Your power isn't just for you. It's for the people you're meant to serve. Your light is a beacon for those who are lost. And when you deny that light, you're not just holding yourself back. You're holding back the healing that others desperately need. Think of it like this. Imagine a lighthouse in the middle of a violent storm. It doesn't turn off its light just because the weather is rough. No, the darker the storm, the brighter the light shines. That's you. You're the lighthouse. The world may be messy, uncertain, even chaotic, but you're here to stand tall and shine anyway. Because if you hide your light, how will anyone lost at sea ever find their way? Owning your power takes courage. It means trusting, not only in yourself, but in the divine plan that placed you here. You have everything you need within you. Yes, the road will be challenging. Yes, doubt will creep in. But every time you choose to rise instead of retreat, you move closer to your true self and your higher calling. So, how do you move past the fear? Start by noticing it. Catch those moments when you feel yourself wanting to shrink or disappear. That awareness is the first step. The next is action. Doing the thing anyway, even if you're scared. Because courage doesn't mean you're never afraid. It means you don't let fear stop you. And every time you act with courage, your power gets stronger. The more you show up, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, you'll trust yourself and your gifts with a confidence that feels unshakable. You were chosen for a reason. Your power is not a mistake. It's a gift. And the world needs it. Don't hide it. Embrace it. Let your light shine, not just for you, but for everyone who's looking for hope, guidance, and truth. Forbidden Action 7. Living in the Past. The final forbidden action for the chosen ones is this: don't live in the past. As a spiritual being on a sacred journey, your strength lies in the present moment. The past is just a memory, a series of events that shaped you, yes, but they don't define you. When you keep looking backward, you trap yourself in old energy that no longer helps you grow. A lot of chosen ones struggle with this. Maybe you've been through trauma, heartbreak, loss, or failure. Maybe there are things you wish you could undo, or words you wish you'd never said. These moments can feel like chains, holding you back from who you're meant to become. But here's the truth. The past is over. It has no power unless you keep feeding it. Living in the past is like trying to drive while staring into the rearview mirror. You might catch a glimpse of where you've been, but if you keep your eyes there, you'll crash. What matters is the road ahead, and you can only steer it clearly by being fully here, right now. The more you live in the past, the more you're anchored to the emotions that came with it. Pain, sadness, anger. These feelings can replay like a broken record, but they were never meant to define you. They were meant to be felt, understood, and then released. Holding on to them weighs you down and slows your progress on this spiritual path. Letting go doesn't mean pretending the past didn't happen. It means choosing not to let it control your present. It's about realizing everything that happened, even the painful stuff, was part of your growth. Now, it's time to move forward. You can't change what's already happened, but you can change how you respond to it today. Chosen ones must learn to forgive, and not just other people, but yourself. Forgiveness is the key to freedom. When you let go of resentment, shame, or guilt, you create space for healing. That's where transformation happens in the present. This is where your intuition speaks, where your actions make the most difference, and where your spiritual power is fully alive. The past holds lessons, but the present is where you use them to shape your future. So, how do you let go? Start by facing the memories that still have a grip on you. What emotions are tied to them? What beliefs did you take on because of them? Look at them honestly, then begin the process of release. Whether that's through meditation, journaling, or symbolic rituals that help you cut those old ties. And once you've done that, make a conscious choice. Live fully in the now. Be mindful of your thoughts, your actions, and how you're showing up in each moment. Let yourself experience life instead of being weighed down by what used to be. You're here for a reason. You're meant to guide, uplift, and lead. But you can't do that if you're stuck in yesterday. Your power is in this moment, where the divine moves through you, where your purpose becomes clear, and where your future is born. Conclusion. Dear chosen ones, as we bring this sacred message to a close, take a moment to reflect on the 7 forbidden actions we've explored together. These aren't just helpful tips. They are spiritual pitfalls that can derail your journey, pulling you away from your divine purpose and disconnecting you from the greater universal plan. But now that you're aware of them, you're empowered to move forward with sharper awareness, deeper clarity, and stronger resolve. Why are these actions so crucial to avoid? Because, as someone set apart for a higher purpose, your life isn't meant to follow the same script as everyone else. You're here for something more, a divine mission that demands you operate on a higher spiritual frequency. This calling is sacred, but the path is not without challenges. It will test your focus, your spirit, and your commitment. The 7 forbidden actions serve as clear signposts. They warn you of the obstacles ahead and how easily you can be led astray if you aren't paying attention. The first, and perhaps most vital, is ignoring your inner voice. That voice within you is more than intuition. It's your direct connection to the divine, your soul's compass. It knows your truth, even when your mind doesn't. Ignoring it is like sailing through a storm with no lighthouse in sight, even when it whispers things that don't make sense at first. Trust it. It's guiding you exactly where you need to be. We also discussed the danger of negative energy and toxic people. As a chosen one, your energy is powerful and highly sensitive. You absorb the energy of people and places around you, whether you realize it or not. That's why you must protect your energy fiercely. Guard your space, set clear boundaries, and pay attention to how you feel after being around certain people or environments. Your light is sacred. Treat it that way. Another major trap is becoming overly attached to material things. Society teaches us that wealth, possessions, and social status define success. But you know better. These are illusions. True success comes from alignment with your soul's mission. When you chase material gain above all else, you risk losing sight of why you're really here. The material world is fleeting. Your spiritual legacy? That's eternal. Your value doesn't come from what you own, but from who you are at your core. Perhaps the most deceptive pitfall is the ego. It can show up disguised as confidence or ambition, but when it takes control, it leads to separation, competition, and the need for external validation. The ego will either convince you that you're superior or unworthy. Both are traps. Your purpose isn't about proving yourself. It's about walking humbly in your calling, uplifting others, and knowing that true power lies in service. Humility doesn't make you small. It connects you to something far greater than yourself. One of the biggest missteps we can make, especially as someone who's spiritually called, is misusing the power of our words. Words are energy. They carry vibrations that ripple out into the world, influencing everything and everyone they touch. And when you're a chosen one, your words carry even more weight because of the energy you radiate. Speaking negatively, gossiping, lying, or using hurtful language doesn't just harm others. It lowers your own vibration too. Your words literally shape your reality. So speak with intention. Speak life, speak love, speak truth. Let your words uplift, heal, and inspire, because that's a big part of your divine mission. The 6th forbidden action is one that holds a lot of chosen ones back: being afraid of your own power. It's a quiet kind of fear, but it runs deep. Many people on this path start to doubt themselves. They question whether they're really up to the task. They fear the weight of their own gifts or the responsibility that comes with stepping into their full potential. But let me remind you, you were chosen for a reason. The universe doesn't make mistakes. It doesn't give you more than you can handle. You already have everything you need inside of you to rise to the occasion. The world needs your light, your voice, and your gifts. Don't play small. Don't hide. Step fully into your power. That's exactly what you're here to do. The final and most serious forbidden action is disconnecting from your divine purpose. Your purpose isn't just what you do. It's who you are. It's the core of your being. When you lose touch with that, you can start to feel lost, unmotivated, and spiritually adrift. Staying aligned with your purpose takes effort. It means making space in your life for reflection, for spiritual practice, and for course correcting when you veer off track. But it's worth it. Your purpose is the thread that connects you to the greater whole, to the divine, to your calling, to the impact you're meant to make. Stay connected to it. Let it guide you through both the light and the dark. So, what can we take away from this look at the 7 forbidden actions? First, know this. You are not just another person going through life. You are a chosen one. Your life carries deep meaning and purpose beyond the everyday. The obstacles you face, they're not random. They're spiritual challenges meant to shape you, to strengthen you, and to prepare you for your higher calling. Second, recognize that the path of a chosen one isn't easy. There are distractions, temptations, and spiritual traps all around, designed to pull you off course. But with awareness, intention, and discipline, you can stay aligned with your divine mission. And finally, remember this: you're never walking this path alone. The divine is always with you, guiding you, protecting you, and equipping you with everything you need to succeed. You're supported by spiritual forces that have your back. Trust that. Trust yourself. Trust the process. As you continue forward, stay awake, stay connected, guard your energy, walk your path with purpose and confidence. You were chosen for this. The world needs your light. Don't dim it. Shine it. Your purpose is bigger than you can imagine. And this journey, it's only just beginning. Thanks so much for watching. If this message spoke to you, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Drop a comment below and share your journey. We'd love to hear from you. Let's keep growing this community of spiritually minded souls together. Stay blessed. Keep shining. Until next time.